Senate Committee on Education has charged Universal Basic Education Commission to improve on its delivery by planning for the next 10 years when books may not be in use and also work on out-of-school children, including Alimajiris. This call was made during oversight function of the committee to the Commission. However, this gives the Commission opportunity to present a 2020 capital budget implementation.
Let's try to change the system of this thing and go for smart schools nowadays. We have solar and renewable energy. It could be included. So begin to have quality, both our buildings and education. Today, what is involved is renewable energy, and the same roof we are using now to build those schools could easily be turned into the solar panels and we start powering the schools. So that very soon, because education has changed, it's changed. We are still in the 1960 education system. Education has moved now. It's technology that works. And in the next 20 years or 10 years, there will be no more books, there will be no more papers anymore. It has to be computers and all that. You send to the cloud and cloud send back to you. So let's start preparing for the future by changing the type of schools that will build smart schools and upstairs schools and classrooms. That will help a whole lot. I think this is it. And then about this constituency project. If we have to be very honest with ourselves, this constituency style of constituency project does not help us. I understand that we present the people, but the people that are in our constituency are still our people. From Olu, any part of Olu, they are my people. So I would suggest that since you beg partners with the state government, can you at every point know where the need of these schools are based on population? Then bring it to us so that next time we are choosing constituency projects, we choose within the schools we have already earmarked. Then just allow senators to say, I put this in my village, meanwhile there's nobody to go to that school. These are waste. A lot of waste in this country. And so we must begin to readjust some of this to help us help the nation too and help our people. The other final point I want to make is I'm very concerned about this in this next year budget. Try and make provision for this Alimajiri emergency schools. Buildings. They don't have to have the type of building we have in the back. They could be police and military kind of places. For us to place in some of the Sangaya schools and get them to start something. Education must not be English and mathematics. Education can also be Hausa language, Igbo language. So let us do something about this. 13.4 million children out of school, for crying out loud, is an embarrassment to a nation. It's an embarrassment to a nation, and we must do something quickly under this ugly situation with this terrible condition of illiteracy points out to us. Insecurity is not devoid of illiteracy. So let us see how we can collectively attack the issue of this out of school students, especially in the northern part of this country. So we can make sacrifice because an injury to one of us is an injury to all of us. If we can fix that educational something in the north, then the Boko Haramic arrangement and this health arrangement will be reduced in the next 10 years. We don't have to spread it based on equality. Let's take the north as a problem and see how we can attack it by creating this emergency school, not block. Talking about even what they call it, this canopies that you want to call, I don't know what you call it. The one they use for wedding. We waste money for weddings and waste money for all this stuff to train children. We can make shanties. It's not building that makes education. What makes education is teacher first. So we can stand there. UBEC is very clear. Well, see what we can change the law, whether we can add some powers to UBEC to tackle this basic thing because it starts from you. You give them building, and there's no child in school, the building doesn't make sense. So we must tie the two together somehow.
So we are spending real money on the issue of Almajiris at that part. But as Senator Okorocha said, it's something that I think is very important. It can be schools. It can be support of the existing schools and the proprietors who are there. It can take a lot of forms. And it should also involve, as Madam has suggested, other children who are out of school. Our official figures at the moment is 10.1 based on the 2018 National Personnel Audit. We are just now in the field trying to validate the data for 2019 and 2020. And I hope within the next 1 month or so, we are going to have current figures that can tell us the number of out-of-school children, isn't it, as far as the statistical, verifications are concerned about this. We used to rely on states also to give us just figures. And the National Personnel Audit had opened our eyes that we cannot. There are those states that can give you the right figures, but those that cannot give you the right figures. And I think at the end of the day, we have decided now to take this as a serious activity of UBEC, trying to verify, after every 2 years, those particular numbers to ensure that we can give a correct record. But of course, the 10.1 million is for 6 to 11-year-olds, those going to primary school. Our major problem is the transition to junior secondary schools. Number one, we don't have the junior secondary schools in large numbers to accommodate. Children will have to walk long distances before they can get a junior secondary school. And it has been quite a problem. But, the second aspect, you come to find, again, by the time, particularly for girls, they get to JSS 1, JSS 2, before they get JSS 3, many of them get married. And it has been, again, a real challenge that has to be taken up to ensure that whatever it is, these children or these students would be allowed to finish their own school. And at the second level, even if one gets married, it doesn't prevent one from going to school. And we have seen, again, a lot of examples all over, isn't it, our states of schools for married adolescents or married girls that had been there. And it's something that UBEC had also been encouraging over a period of time to ensure that we solve this particular problem. Cross River has a peculiar problem that Madam has mentioned. It just cropped up in our 2018 data analysis. And when we saw it, we were just surprised, isn't it? How now Cross River will have one of the highest out-of-school children, isn't it? But again, is the disturbance that took place within those areas at a point, where a lot of the normal activities that used to take place and the enrollment process and so on and so were disrupted, and it led to a real problem. But I think the state is really struggling to get back on how do I put it, on its tracks, isn't it, to ensure that, isn't it, solve this problem.